What's going on, guys? Here we are back, M&M Sports Lounge. Myself, Tyler. We got Anthony joining us back again today. He's right down there. He's looking good. So today, like I said, we're gonna just dive right into it, boys. You have anything to?
Do you have a what was that?
I tried to do a hair flip. I just forgot I don't have enough hair to do it.
Sometimes that happens. Okay, so anyways, we're just gonna dive right into it. We're gonna be doing some more start bench cut. You know, that's what we do here. And we'll talk about some other things. I'm sure we'll get off topic like we do. But we're just gonna go right into it. We had a couple requests this week from mine and Tyler's father, and he wanted us to start bench cut some fellas, and so we're gonna be doing that today. First off, we're gonna start out with Jerome Bettis, Thurman Thomas, and John Riggins. And also, I have wrote down some accolades here just in case y'all weren't quite sure of who they were, what they've accomplished. So Thurman Thomas was a 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. He's in the Hall of Fame, and he was also on the Hall of Fame All-90s team.
Is that the running back that was part of the Buffalo run where they went to 4 straight Super Bowls but lost all 4?
That's a good question. Hold on.
Because I think I know. I know. So I know who Jerome Bettis is. I know who Thurman Thomas is. I think if that's the same running back.
He did play for Buffalo, 88 to 2000. So yes.
Okay. And then what was the third guy?
John
Riggins. Yeah, John Riggins.
He
won an MVP, yeah.
And by the way, Thurman Thomas rushed for 12,074 yards. John Riggins, 1-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, in the Hall of Fame, on the Hall of Fame All-80s team. And he was a Super Bowl champ, and he only rushed for 11,352 yards. I say only rushed. And then Jerome Bettis was a 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, in the Hall of Fame, Super Bowl champ, and rushed for 13,662 yards. So he rushed the most, but he also played the most games out of these 3 guys. John Riggins rushing for the least, also playing the least amount of games. So
that's the most rushing touchdowns though at 104.
Mm-hmm. Now is that rushing touchdowns or is that just touchdowns in total?
It says rushing touchdowns 104. John Riggins.
Okay.
Because he played on the then Redskins, now Commanders.
Yeah. Thurman Thomas only getting 65 touchdowns. So
now maybe I just read it wrong. Did Thurman Thomas win an AP MVP? He finished first in the voting.
He did in 91.
Okay. Beat out his quarterback, Jim Kelly.
That must have been real difficult to do. I can only imagine.
You make me look good, so I'll win MVP.
So if I'm going off of these 3, I am probably actually going to start John Riggins. I'm going to bench Thurman Thomas, and I'm going to cut Jerome Bettis.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
I'm totally different. I'd cut John Riggins, start Jerome Bettis, and bench Thurman Thomas.
What is your list?
Do you want to elaborate? Why are you cutting Jerome Bettis?
Okay, so Jerome Bettis. Okay, so here's my only issue. I think Steelers are an awful team. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No, so my issue with Jerome Bettis, I think he had the longest tenure, correct? Like he was the one who played the most games, right? However, he was the most okay, if you need 2 yards, that was the back you went to. And while I don't know the most about John Riggins and Thurman Thomas, I was just never really impressed by him. All of the great running backs that I grew up hearing about, he was never in me and my grandfather's top 20 run, and that's just a running back. So that was never was in the same name as Earl Thomas, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, things of that nature. I just don't think he was that good.
Do you like Deion Sanders, Anthony?
Huh?
Do you like Deion Sanders?
Deion Sanders is a cornerback, and he's the most annoying player. he's the one that would get in your head the most. I don't mean like annoying, like I don't like his personality. So yes, I thought he was actually just probably the best football player to ever play, other than LT.
So, but that didn't answer my question. Do you like Deion Sanders?
Yes.
So there was one time Jerome Bettis was doing an interview, and they asked him what he would do against the Steelers. So he said that he would get the ball, get in the field, and find Deion Sanders and run right over him.
Well, yeah, because Deion Sanders wouldn't tackle.
No, he would.
I could run over Deion Sanders
like this far away.
Yeah, because Deion Sanders wasn't a physical corner. He was just probably. I don't think there was ever a better coverage corner, and he was good enough at the other stuff to pass. But he's probably the best defensive. Again, other than LT, LT is like a whole different category. But Deion Sanders is probably the best defensive player to ever play.
You're saying he's the best defensive player that's ever played the game of NFL football.
Yeah. I think if it depends on what you're looking at versus pass rusher.
I'm looking at defensive players.
Right.
How many defensive player years did Deion Sanders win?
2? I think 2 or 3.
I have so many issues with your arguments right now, dude. Like,
what do you mean?
So, like, I yes, I'm a Steelers fan. Yes, Jerome Bettis is a Steeler. Leon told me these names. I had no idea who these people were. Did not correlate anything whatsoever. So I just went and read stats. And your reason for cutting Jerome Bettis was you don't think he's good. But you don't even know who the other people are.
Well, I'm also looking at their numbers. Jerome Bettis.
So you cut the guy with the most rushing yards, who played the longest, who never played less than 10 games in a season. 11, I think, was the least he played in the season.
This is a scoring league, and hang on. How many touchdowns did Jerome Bettis have?
Was it 90-something?
Oh, I didn't look. I'm sorry.
I think it's 90-something. I think he had 90. John Riggins had 100 and something. And then
the other guy only had
65.
So the reason why Thurman Thomas, I think he's actually from one of the best, like what could have been dynasties for the Bills, right?
But it wasn't.
It wasn't, right? But he was part of that. He just could never quite get over the finish line. And this is a scoring league. You have to get points.
I mean, I agree with you. But if you are, say you're a running back who is garbage at running, but you're huge, so you can stay the 1 yard line and just rush touchdowns all day long. So you average
valuable,
like 20 yards a season, but you score 80 touchdowns. Like that, you're not a good running.
I am the greatest of all.
You're not a good running back.
If I get 80 touchdowns, it doesn't matter how you get him. I am the greatest of all.
I'm still appalled at you saying Deion Sanders is the best.
That's the second part.
So okay, so Lawrence, there is an argument for LT.
Lawrence Taylor, Ed Reed is good.
No,
Ed Reed, boy. Ed Reed, boy. Troy Polamalu, boy.
I would say Troy Polamalu. He's one of the best safeties.
Deion Sanders shoes.
He's still a defensive player.
Oh no, he's one of the best safeties. He's not like one of the best. And Aaron Donald has more defensive player of the years. J.J. Watt has more defensive player of the years.
So yeah, but okay. So my thing is Deion Sanders took away, like, some of his numbers aren't going to be as gaudy as some of theirs because they can pressure the quarterback people just stopped throwing to Deion's side of the fucking field. That side of the field just didn't exist.
Yeah, because they didn't want to hurt his fingernails or anything if he caught the ball.
I guess that's fair. It worked out. If that's the reason, they're dumb, and that worked out for.
I hope Deion Sanders watches this video sometime down the line
and hears me defending him. Yeah. That I think he is the greatest defensive player ever. And the only one who could put up an argument is LT. That's the only other person.
He's the only other person that you would
ever.
Yeah, it's Deion, right?
So
LT,
can I tell you who the NFL Network ranked their top 10 defensive players of all time?
Oh, this should be great because we know there are plenty of experts there. Outstanding. Go ahead and hit me with it.
Deion Sanders is number 10, by the way.
Okay, so what's the first 9 then?
Starting from 1 to 9. or
Okay.
9-1? What would you rather?
Do 9-1. Do 9-1.
9 was Ed Reed. That's why I brought him up.
Ed Reed, boy.
There's no way.
Then they have Rod Woodson.
Okay. Good
Then
coverage.
they have Mean Joe Green.
Okay.
Then they have Dick Butkus.
Okay.
Then they have Deacon Jones.
Okay.
Then they have Ronnie Lott.
That's a good defensive end.
Then there's a fellow named Bob Lilly. Never heard of him personally. And then they have Reggie White and Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, that's one of the most that list was awful, right? So they're not even because think about it this way: they're not even accounting for how much harder defensive it. Like some of those players are from like 60s, 70s when defense you literally could just decapitate people. Like you could just the things you could get away with in that era, right? And that's why as great as I think defensive ends are, right? They're not they haven't been punished as hard as corners were as far as in this generation. Right before Deion started like retired is when they started amping up rules on what could be done as far as what corners were allowed to do, how they were allowed to cover wide receivers. There is no list I will ever take seriously that doesn't at least put Deion in 5. Again, so my list.
Funny you say that.
Mm-hmm.
Bleacher Report ranked their top 50 greatest defensive players in NFL history.
If they put him anything less than 10, it's a waste of a list.
How about 19?
That's insane. That just doesn't make.
Who's their top 10?
Top
10.
Their top 10 is, and I quote, let me get down here. Well, Mike Singletary's at 18, so.
They put Mike Singletary. Outstanding. This is great.
They put Ronnie Lott at 10.
Okay.
Bruce Smith at 9.
These are not bad players, by the way.
Bob Lilly is at 8. Alan Page at 7. That was the 1970s. Gino Marchetti.
Never heard of that cat.
In 1969. Reggie White at 5.
Okay.
Joe Green at 4. Ray Lewis at 3.
Okay.
Dick Butkus at 2. And Lawrence Taylor at 1.
Okay, so I'm the biggest Ray Lewis supporter. First of all, no. That's just he's not a top 3 defensive player ever. One of the probably the best leader to ever play in the NFL. Yeah, sure. But okay. But defensive player, these absolutely ridiculous lists. These people are idiotic. I can't
if to make you any happier, CBS Sports put him at 4. Deion Sanders.
Thank God. Did you say CBS?
Yeah.
They
got Ray Lewis at 3, Lawrence Taylor at 2, and Reggie White at 1. So obviously we already know that's a stupid list.
Yeah,
so you can't trust that one.
We started off so strong. I was like, okay, this
Aaron Donald's at 5 on that list. So
and see, that's another thing. How do you compare this set of defense like this? How do you compare this generation of defensive players against them?
Like this,
of what they can do and what they can't do.
Deion Sanders made it to. Let me recap.
I'm
get it wrong. 4, 8. Sorry,
you could not swallow your mouth.
Sorry about that. I'll scoot it back some. Deion Sanders made it was voted to 8 Pro Bowls and was a first team All Pro 6 times. The one and only Bob Lilly made 13 Pro Bowls.
Goodness.
And 7 first teams.
Like I said, nothing against this fella. I don't know who he is.
Started all 14 games every season, not just 14 total.
Probably because he played from 1961 to 1974. Probably why I haven't.
All for the Dallas Cowboys.
Nice head of hair, I'll say that in this picture. He was a Super Bowl champ. Oh, he played for Dallas. That's probably why.
Yeah, not even. He was. I knew him better on the 49ers.
Bob Lilly?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
I was like, he never played for the 49ers.
Sorry, when you said played with the Cowboys, because Dion played with the Cowboys too.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. These are stupid lists. Wow,
Anyways,
I've never.
So we're gonna leave all this nonsense in the past. I'm done talking about Deion Sanders. I'm going to go change my. Never mind.
The GOAT.
Next, guys. We're moving on. We haven't done a category like this yet. We're doing kickers. We're doing kickers. It's time.
I'm so excited, actually.
We've got Adam Vinatieri.
Okay.
We've got Morton Anderson.
Okay.
And we've got Justin Tucker.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and start. Start Adam Vinatieri. Bench Justin Tucker. Cut whoever the Mortensen or whatever his name was.
Morton Anderson. Why are you cutting Morton Anderson?
Morton Anderson. Because
you don't know him.
I don't know Morton Anderson, but I know Adam Vinatieri, and Adam Vinatieri is the best kicker to ever grace an NFL or college or high school football field.
You think so?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you know the NFL is starting to say Justin Tucker is the best kicker of all time?
I don't agree. He's a phenomenal kicker. Don't get me wrong. Phenomenal kicker. Saves my butt in many fantasy leagues every year.
But what makes Adam Vinatieri so much better than Justin Tucker?
What?
So let me stop you here. Adam Vinatieri has been to 3 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pro appearances, and he's got the NFL record for most career points with 2,673. Kicking 83.8% for his career. He played from 1996 to 2019. That's 23 years.
23 years.
I'm just going to go ahead and throw Morton Anderson. He's been to 7 Pro Bowls. He's had 5 first-team All-Pro appearances. He's won 2 Golden Toe Awards, which I don't know what that is. Anthony, if you would, look that up for me real quick, if you're on your computer.
Yeah, I got you.
And he has a record for kickers at the most games played with 382 games. He's kicked 79.62% and has the second most scored points at 2,544 points.
So Vinny got it done in less games.
Yeah, technically, I guess.
So controversial. Also, to answer your question, it's like their version of like the Cy Young Award for pitchers.
Wow.
So they'll give it to the best kicker that year. So if he got 2 of them, technically, it's saying he was the best kicker that year.
Okay.
Essentially, is what that means.
Then,
so
Justin Tucker was drafted in 2012. So he's only played for 10 years. At this moment, he has scored 1,446 points. So Adam Vinatieri played for 23 years and has kicked 2,673. If Justin Tucker plays 10 more years, that's 20 years. So that's 3 years less than Vinatieri. He'll have 2,900 points. Which will
if he scores at the same rate.
Will beat Vinatieri.
If he scores,
but Justin Tucker has been to 4 Pro Bowls, 4 first-team All appearances, and he has the NFL record for the most field goal percentage at 90.65%. So he kicks better than Vinatieri
on a season or in his career.
Well,
yeah, he start 12 years less than that.
Doesn't matter. I don't think that matters because Morton Anderson played from 82 to 2004. And then played in 2006 and 2007. So he played for 23 years as well, I guess. So
here's the thing. With Morton Anderson, I'm just going to go ahead and cut him. We're just going to go ahead.
Y'all are hating on Morton Anderson, dude.
No, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and cut him. He's just out of the running. Now, what I will say before I say the next 2, Vinatieri right now, at this moment, as we are talking, is the greatest kicker of all time. When we talk again in probably 5 years, Justin Tucker will be the greatest kicker of all time. So just to clarify, right now, yeah, it's Adam Vinatieri. However, if you're asking me kick of my life, probably picking Justin Tucker. But it's close. I would probably – so I'm going to start Justin Tucker, bench Adam Vinatieri. However, again, Adam Vinatieri is the GOAT. Like, I think when he was playing, like, he has the most iconic moments because he's been on some of the greatest teams. Justin Tucker, before Lamar Jackson, wasn't around like quality players, like wasn't on a team that could even compete in the playoffs. Adam Vinatieri played with Peyton Manning and then Tom Brady. Those were two of his main quarterbacks. He was always competing in the playoffs. He was always going for rings. The caliber, right? And so the caliber of teams he's been on is much better than Justin Jefferson. So it looks like he's just he's just unattainable. But if you put Justin Tucker on those teams, I think he makes more than Vinatieri. I just think he overall is like what an athlete looks like at kicker now. He's going to be the best kicker to ever play this game. And it probably by the end of it, Tyler, it's not going to be close. It will be Justin Tucker and then a gaping hole and then everyone else.
But again, that's assuming that he scores at the same rate that he is now.
Even if he doesn't score at the same rate, because it's no one may break that record Adam Vinatieri has the most points, because again, it depends on the teams you're on. And to me, a kicker matters more about the moments of like clutchness. Can he do it in the big moments? Because you don't know how many times you're going to – if your offense is mediocre, you're going to get in field goal range a decent amount. You're going to get more opportunities to play, to go for it. The moments that matter are when you can make the game-winning kicks. I'm actually curious who has more game-winning kicks at the end, like in the last 20 seconds to a minute. I would be shocked to see if Justin Tucker isn't already close behind Vinatieri.
So I also want to go on the record and say Justin Tucker also has the longest field goal ever made at 66 yards. He's now my percentage is old. He's now kicking at 91.1%.
So he went up.
So he's better. He was also undrafted. He wasn't even drafted in 2012. Someone just picked him up. They were like, this white boy's cool. We'll take him. So.
And that was probably the best decision that ever. He's going to be the best kicker
to
ever play.
And if I might be wrong, but I think Morton Anderson and Adam Vinatieri are two of the 4 kickers that ever went in the first round. Am I wrong?
I didn't know they were taking in the first round. I thought Adam Vinatieri was a 6th rounder.
Maybe. I'm gonna look up kickers taken in the first round right now. Oh, pardon me. Well, let's see here.
While you're looking, I don't know if I don't know what this website is. It's called the Twin Spires Edge, but they rank their top 10 kickers. And
pardon me, them two weren't in the first round. Janikowski and a couple other people were. So,
go ahead, Tyler.
Their top 4 kickers. Number 4 is your boy Steven Gostkowski, who
he sucked on the Titans, but
on multiple game winners.
He was coming off a leg injury. Before that, he was one of the best kickers that's played the game too.
Did not show it in that season.
Well, like I said, he's coming off a leg injury on his kicking leg.
But number 4 was him. Number 3 is Morton Anderson. 2 is I don't know how old this list is, but 2 is Justin Tucker, and 1 is Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah. So 3 of the best kickers, probably the 3 best kickers that's ever been in the NFL.
Probably, but it's definitely 1, 2, space. See,
but I feel like Morton Anderson's been to more Pro Bowls, more All-Pro appearances, played the most games out of them. So I feel like it's not space. I feel like it's 1, 2, 3. Really, you could shoot dice and.
So you're telling me, kick for your life. If you lose, you die. You would put him in contention against the other 2.
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
What's your start bench cut?
Start Justin Tucker, bench Adam Vinatieri, cut Morton Anderson.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind a little Denmark boy kicking for me. I wouldn't care.
I would.
So.
If I passed up on Justin Tucker, I should be fired as a GM. If I get those 3 choices and my choice is the other guy, I deserve to be fired.
But if I were just to tell you the Pro Bowl stats and All Pro stats, I guarantee you, y'all both would have started Morton Anderson.
Because numbers can lie, especially with kickers. Yeah, you're going to buy face value. You want the one with the biggest number. But for kickers, it's not the same. So, for instance, quarterbacks are judged more on Super Bowl wins, right? Like, than any other position. But that doesn't mean that, like, so Shannon Sharp, great example, right? He's won a few rings. That's not what he's known for. He's known as being, like, one of the best tight ends. He's not the best tight end, but he's one of the best tight ends, right? It's for kickers. Yeah, it's great that Adam Vinatieri has the points, is leading in the most amount of points, but that's not why I think Adam Vinatieri is the greatest kicker of all time right now and will eventually lose it. It's about like the clutch moments of him winning. How many rings was he responsible for Tom Brady winning, and why we hate Tom Brady? As an example, like that's my point. Is the numbers can be misleading. They're great background, but it's like for instance, when I talk to you about like Larry Fitzgerald versus like Randy Moss and Jerry Rice, I picked Larry Fitzgerald over Randy Moss and T.O. because of the other stuff as well as the playing ability.
You know, I understand where you're coming from. But still, like I said, I feel like y'all are hating on my boy Morton Anderson more than he should.
I do. It's
I don't see one of us on the all-time kickers list. So
you're correct.
Where are we to judge?
I didn't hoss a football into a cheerleader's head either.
I didn't either.
Who did that? It must have been that guy. But anyways, we're gonna get off that topic and move on to the next thing. Do y'all have something to write with today, or
no? Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, we're gonna see if we can, as the camera follows you, we're gonna see if we can do this. I'm gonna give y'all. We're moving over to basketball right now. I'm gonna give y'all some stats these guys averaged over the career. Start, bench, cut those, and we'll see where we lie after that. First guy, 21. I'm gonna round to the nearest point, just because it's aggravating putting point ball. 21 points a game. 11 rebounds per game. 3 blocks per game. This one was actually no point after that. He actually averaged 3 on the money blocks per game. And shooting 52% from the field. This guy did. The next guy averaged 25 points per game. 11 rebounds per game as well. 2.5 blocks per game, because I feel like it's 2.5. And 56% from the field goal range. And next guy, 24 points per game, 11 rebounds per game as well. 2 blocks per game, and 58% from the field.
Okay.
Discuss.
So I did mine. So the first person you said I ranked 2. Second person you said I ranked 1. And then third I ranked 3. The only reason now that was kind of close, because the reason honestly I kind of on the fence is the third one had the highest field goal percentage. And I think that matters more. The fact that you only gave me rebound stats means these are big men. Essentially,
I didn't say that necessarily.
So yeah, but you would have told me assists if these were like guards or
guards having 3 blocks.
Who's to say Nate Archibald is out here getting 3 blocks per game?
Yeah. So I'm assuming these are big men. Field goal percentage matters a lot too, but I think the consistency. So 56 plus almost or 2.5 blocks, which is in the middle, plus around the same points. I think I would have ranked that higher. So mine is 2, 1, 3.
Yeah, I was the same. I for a moment I wanted to put the first guy first because of the 3 blocks per game, but with the 4 point per game rounded 4 point per game gap in scoring and a 4% difference. I'm like you. If you're a big man, you have to be making the majority of your shots. You're just the game has changed a lot. Big men are they stretch the floor more now, but in the late night or the old days to the 2000s, your job was to bang in the paint and score points. So you should have a high field goal percentage. High 45 to 50%.
I wonder what generation, or if these are in like multi eras. I'm curious about that.
Right. I think mine would be 2-1-3.
That's interesting. That is interesting. I would not. Well, looking at stats, yeah, I would say. I don't know. Honestly, the first guy I said I would almost cut him because he wasn't averaging as many points. But
that would depend on what the rest of your team looks like, though. If you have some guards or forwards that are volume scorers, you don't need to average as many points. Your job can be just clean the glass and play defense.
Yeah. So, okay. Who they're all centers. Oh, surprise, surprise.
I'm surprised.
Who do you think these three guys are?
I don't know. Are these high profile players? Like these aren't like one-offs?
Yeah. No, they're all
active or retired?
They're all retired.
All retired?
All retired. All centers?
All centers.
Is one Hakeem?
I'm about to say
not Hakeem.
Oh, interesting. I almost want to say the 25 point per game is Kareem.
It is.
The 3 blocks. Is that Shaq?
That's too low scoring.
Two blocks feels too low for Shaq.
You're fair.
2.3 is what it was.
So is that Shaq then? The 24 points per game?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Shaq.
So y'all started Kareem and cut Shaq.
I think starting Kareem is a reasonable thing.
But
I don't think that's
who you benched. You would have never picked this guy over Shaq.
No.
David Robinson.
I was literally about to say Admiral.
You would never bench David Robinson over Shaq.
That's true.
Their names.
That's very accurate.
Because
that's what's interesting about doing it this way, looking at stats and numbers and things people have done. Because you get into, Shaq's the best center of all time. Kareem's the best center of all time. No one even talks about David Robinson.
No.
He's no one even thinks about him. But see, y'all both, like I said, y'all might even start Shaq over Kareem.
And I wouldn't start Shaq over Kareem.
Well, I'm just saying you might. There's argument to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the
thing about it.
I personally would. I would start Shaq over Kareem. Shaq's my boy.
All right. But like we talked, or I mentioned, if you have a high volume scorer as a center, you don't need to average many points. David Robinson didn't really have a volume.
He didn't have really anybody.
And then Kareem had Magic and James Worthy, and Shaq had Kobe, and then Dwayne Wade, and before that he had Penny Hardaway, and so eventually LeBron James, and
not very long
on the Celtics, Paul Pierce. So that's funny.
The truth.
So,
fun fact: I think Paul Pierce is the most annoying basketball personality.
Here we go. It's always something controversial at the end of these episodes because we're running low on time. So we got to make sure we got that in. Well, first we've talked about Deion Sanders. Boo. Anyways, but now I guess we're using Paul Pierce. Players. So that's crazy. But yeah, that was a great episode, guys. Hope everybody's enjoyed watching the videos as much as we've enjoyed making them. We're having fun. Like I said, this has always been a dream of ours, so we're just living it out.
Took a very hard left turn. I just want to say that Anthony's the only one that Starfish got the first 3, and we started talking about defense.
I could talk defense for days because I know defense clearly better than those lists.
No! I started. We talked about Jerome Bettis, and Thurman Thomas, John Riggins. I started Jerome Bettis, cut John Riggins, bench Thurman Thomas. That's what I said. But look it up. Watch the video back. You'll see it. I said it. You're the only one that didn't, Tyler, because you were scared.
I would start Jerome Bettis. I would bench John Riggins and cut Thurman.
I'm glad we got that covered now.
A lot of Steeler bias in the house, so that's fine.
The fact that he had, 4,000 more rushes or 400 more rushes, not 4,000. Jesus Christ, 400 more rushes than the other.
You'd be in the grave. He had 4,000 more rushes.
Maybe that had something to do with it, and not the fact that I just cut him because I don't like him.
Have you had 4,000 rushes? You must drive a Ford F-250. So, anyways, well, that's been us, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. You have anything to leave them with?
Celtics were that
That's
good.
the most annoying. Kendrick
Trevor
Perkins.
Carter.
We don't talk about Kendrick Perkins on this show. So that's where we're going to leave it at. So
Kendrick
that way you forget about Kendrick Perkins now. But anyways, everybody, thanks for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell. You'll be notified whenever we post. But that's been us. So everyone, have a good night. And we'll see you all in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.